Revolution. I'm doing my first how-to video inside the tiny house. This is a pretty exciting time for us. We are about 90% dried in. We're going to start with the metal roof tomorrow, so we're real excited about that. But what I want to talk to you about is what we're going to do for the underlayment of the metal roof. Now, if you look online and you research and you talk to some traditional installers, that sort of thing, what you're probably going to hear is that underneath of your metal roof you want some sort of tar paper, or you want some sort of heavy-duty craft paper, or something that's going to put a nice substrate or underlayment under that metal. But what we're going to use is an EcoFoil product. EcoFoil, of course, being one of the sponsors of Tiny Revolution, they provided us with that double bubble that we put underneath of the trailer and underneath of the subfloor. And so what we're going to use for underneath of our metal roofing, which is going to lay just on top of our sheathing, is EcoFoil Radiant Barrier Reflective Foil. So let me just pull it out real quick. And as you'll see, when it comes out, it looks a lot like Reynolds wrap, really, or aluminum foil, or whatever that stuff is called. But yeah, so this is the product right here. It comes on a roll. I believe it's 500 square feet, which will be plenty for this house. But when you feel it, it's a perforated radiant barrier. So essentially what that means is it's got a texture to it. It's going to reflect the sun. So we're going to use this underneath of our metal roof. We're going to lay it out in sheets on top of our sheathing. That way, when the sun penetrates down onto our roof, it's going to reflect the heat back up instead of penetrating through and coming into our house, causing our temperature control, our air conditioner, to work overtime. So we're really excited about this. As you can see, it is about 4 feet tall. Maybe a little bit taller than that. I don't know the actual dimensions. I'll provide that for you though at the end of this video, as well as give you the product number in case you're interested. Now, a couple of other applications of this are, let's say you already have a house constructed and you just want to include some radiant barrier so you can get better insulatory property. You can go up into your attic and you can cut strips that'll go between your trusses, and you can simply put them up in between your trusses. Then you would put your insulation again. So it would require a little bit of work, but it'd be well worth it. Reports show a lot of heat being transferred through the use of radiant barrier. You can also use it in metal buildings. You can use it. You can even use it on your walls if you want to, in between your studs. So there's a lot of uses for radiant barrier. But again, we're going to use this product underneath of our metal roofing, on top of our roof sheathing, so that we can reflect the heat away from the tiny house and send it back up to the sun where it belongs.
So the first step was to prepare the EcoFoil Radiant Barrier. So that was laid out on the ground, measured, and then cut. Essentially the pieces ran from eave to eave, and in this case about 10 foot. Once the strips were cut, they were rolled up, taken to the roof where they were unrolled and then stapled down to the roof sheathing. Anytime you're building any sort of construction project, there's always going to be some elements of the build that you really understand, maybe that you have experience doing, and then there's going to be other elements that you just don't understand or you don't feel comfortable with, or things like that. And I think really that's what separates really good builders from maybe not so good builders, is understanding what your skill set is and knowing when to ask for help or when to seek advice. And with our metal roofing, that is one of the places where I just didn't feel experienced, just didn't feel like I was qualified to do the job, and so I called on professionals to do it. So in the building of our tiny house here at Tiny Revolution, we called the professionals out to have our metal roof installed. And so we'll talk a little bit about this metal roof. In fact, you can see some behind me. This is our little storage box on the front of the trailer. Of course, our roof line is up there, but I just want to show you. Now, first of all, our metal roof comes courtesy to us of Gulf Coast Supply and Manufacturing. They're out of Florida. We've been working with them for months now. Just a fantastic company, very knowledgeable. Their customer service is excellent. They responded to us so quickly, just the back and forth, and the expertise they brought to the project really was comforting. And I know that I know that anyone that went to them would receive the same sort of treatment. So yeah, we really thank Gulf Coast Supply Manufacturing, and we definitely are proponents of the material that they have, of the roofing systems they have, and just all around the company in general. Now I'm going to use some of my notes because I don't know all the pieces to metal roofing. Again, it's not my skill set. It's I got a little bit of a handicap, so I'm going to have to refer to some things. But what I'm holding in my hand here is actually the Gulf Coast Supply detail manual that came in an email to me. It's about, I don't know, 18 or 19 pages of just visual goodness as to how this roofing system works. Now, we use the Gulf Seam roof system, which is actually just a standing seam system. It's like the Cadillac of metal roofs, if you will. And it's manufactured by Gulf Coast Supply. They've been manufacturing since 2004. They're in Florida. The color we chose is actually Galvalume. It really gives us that kind of vintage farmhouse look that we were looking for. It's the 1 3/4 inch rib height. It's a weather-tight product. It's been tested for a lot of different conditions, a lot of different storm conditions, so it really will hold up to pretty much anything that comes its way. Now, granted, with any sort of weather, you want to be really knowledgeable about what is coming your way. You want to be smart. You certainly don't want to say, "Oh, we've got this metal roof, and because of that, we're gonna, ride out a Category 5 hurricane." A storm is a storm, so you need to be knowledgeable about that. One of the things I like most about the standing seam system is that standing seam allows concealed clip fasteners. Now, in the case of Gulf Coast, their product UL-90, but they actually live up underneath of where the panels connect to each other, so you don't even see them. So what you end up getting is just a really nice seamless sort of, I'll say seamless sort of look on your metal roof. And those concealed clips actually look like that right there. In fact, let me show you one of those concealed clips in action. So this is what the UL90 clip looks like. Essentially what you have is two holes where your lifetime screws go into to connect it to your roof sheathing. Now, this is what our roof sheathing looks like. We have a Smart Side, an LP Building Materials Smart Side product roof sheathing. Then we've got some EcoFoil Radiant Barrier, and then we've got our panel system. So we would take a clip, we would put two screws into it just like that. It goes underneath of the panel, and then it locks down just like that. So the seal you get is really high quality, really tight. And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab another panel and you're going to slide it down. Now, you can either slide it over or you can actually pop it into place. So let me just grab one of those and we'll pop it into place. So here's actually just a little scrap piece, if you will, of our 24 gauge standing seam metal in Galvalume. And what we're going to do is we've got our clips there. So we're just going to take this piece and, as you can see, we're just going to pop it into place. Once it's popped down, then you can just kind of slide it where you need it to go. Just like that. And your panel's in place. You don't see any of the clip system. You've got a nice continuous flow of metal roof. So I want to talk a little bit more about a couple of products that come with this standing seam roof system, the Gulf Seam roof system. Now again, I said it's 24 gauge steel in Galvalume. There's a 40-year warranty on this product, and you can get the panels in either a 14-inch, a 16-inch, or an 18-inch width. You can cut it on site, or you can have it fabricated at Gulf Coast and then sent to you. Now, as we look behind me, you can see some of the metal roofing pieces in action. Obviously, we have our panel right here. We have some Z-trim up here, where we would put our ridge cap. We've got some gable trim. That's what it is. Excuse me. We've got some gable trim right here. And what you end up doing, and I'll show you in just a minute, you end up getting a really nice looking system of metal roofing. And it's something that we saw initially online at www.gulfcoastsupply.com. Fell in love with the look of, and decided that was exactly what we wanted for our tiny house. Now again, the detail manual you get, and I want to show you this as well. This is actually the This is actually the invoice that came with our roofing, and it outlines all of the items that we got. And the cool thing about this company is that when I was working with them and putting together what we would need for our metal roof, they absolutely provided me with all the information and really outlined all the materials I was going to need. I mean, we got everything from ridge cap to gable rake to eave drip pitch to Z flashing, chimney flashing, panel starter, butyl tape, seam clip, wood grip screws, caulk. We got it all in one crate. It came to us in a timely fashion. In fact, from the time they shipped it to the time we got it, it was about 52 total hours. We then had to wait about 5 or 6 days for the installer to get out, and he started putting it on. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and take a look at that process right now. Again, these are professional installers. I did not do this installation. If you don't feel strongly about your skill set or your ability to do metal roofing, I would encourage you to look for a local or a regional installer that you feel confident with, that you can talk over your product and get a really nice installation. That's what we did. We're very pleased with what we have. And so let's go take a look at it right now.